Alright, moving right along, continuing from part 1. Now we addressed the first cause and the logical inconsistency in that's been pointed out over and over again, and how ignorant and stupid it is to answer your own questions. Now, on to what else this person is stating. They are designed to exist. Oh, my bad. Also, life on other planets would exist because they are designed to exist on that specific planet. Well, for context, they said life on other planets don't refute first cause. Whatever. Okay, if there were aliens, they were designed to be on their alien planet and be blue and name Gub Gub if they were. Alright, see, there's some holes in here though, because we've proved that evolution happens here. We've pretty much proved without reasonable doubt that that elements do very much so from our primordial clouds and such, they very much did evolve, turn into, I guess we say, evolve by way of physics, by way of natural forces, turned into things like hydrogen, oxygen, carbon. Very prevalent, very proven. You can look at it in any science book, probably at any level, from, I don't know, maybe by like 4th grade, when they might be going over something like that. I don't know. About from 4th grade on to, I don't know, right now, whatever. This is so, I don't get what was the point of that. What was the point of that? We proved that by natural forces things can come about. We evolved physics and primordial matter and such, brought about the heavier elements that made it possible for us to be here, and along with stars and other things like that. So, but I don't get what you were doing here. They're designed. When did the designing happen? You never signify when it was designed. You just say, from when we look at it, it looks designed, so there must be a designer. Well, that's the same bullshit that people used to spew about our planet in our natural world, when in fact we just developed cosmology, which has gone a long way of proving how the planets develop, the birth and death of stars, what they release when they die, and things like that. That happens. That's what happened. Our naturalistic explanations explain these things quite beautifully. There's no reason to suppose that it was made by a designer outside of some sort of emotional attachment. Either way, and for to say that they're designed for their planet, wherever they are, or where they may not be, whatever, no one knows their fucking aliens anyway. But just for saying for that, and to be from another planet, whatever, to assert that they'd be designed for their environment is incredibly arrogant, because we see things like recorded evolution happening right here on this planet. What the fuck would make you think that it wouldn't happen there? I don't get it. They probably, with some, if they're is hospitable to life or something like us, is probably adapted and evolved and managed to flourish in its environment. And that's all that happened. Nothing, nothing truly special like you try to bullshit it off to be. I don't get where you're going over there. And say that doesn't refute the anthropic principle. Yes, it would. On life on other planets, would very much so refute anthropic principle. Well, know why? Because you said that it's asserted that, okay, it was so unlikely first, right? And then say that these things are needed for all life that we know of to even exist. Well, these could all just be arbitrary, just be there, only for our existence, but life could arise in other ways. And if we found it in, I don't know, per se, another galaxy or within our own, but under different types of constances, life or intelligent life, or just the smallest forms of life, had arose, well, you could say that, yeah, your anthropic principle is not really that much of a principle. It's just arbitrary. It was meant, it's there, it's only what we know of for human beings to come about, but really there are other ways for life to come about. That's those that would utterly refute that. Well, not if you're the devout believer, then you'll just rationalize it off as something else. I forget how these people think.
Titan or something like that. I'll probably have to look that up.
You don't need to.
It is thing. This one allowed native.
Dude. Why is there barely anything within the video? Okay, this doesn't, okay, I said, okay, 1, this doesn't refute the first cause. 2, it doesn't refute design. 3, any other life elsewhere would require anthropic principles. What are you talking about? The very pillars that the anthropic principle argument stands on is the fact that these constances are so necessary for life. If they exist in another type of principles or constances made them, it would show that each one, there's different ways for different forms of life to come about, so that your anthropic principle is completely arbitrary. And what you see as design, I see, and most scientists see, is something we just yet to explain. I don't get it. So yeah, you can have it and think it's design if you want to, or you can think that God is the first cause if you want to, but that's not science. That's not a real theory. This is where the friction starts. That's not science, and you try and act like it is. It's not science. It's not. There's no applicability to calling God the first cause. In fact, why would we investigate the origins of the universe if we all just, oh, God did it? Why would we do anything if just God did it? That's not science. First off, we start with our problem. We make our observations, form our hypothesis, do our experiment, get our data, make an analysis on data, and make a claim to evidence of whatever is left. To say that how this does or does not work, or how my hypothesis was or was not right. Duh, we can't do that with creation science, and I love how you try and bolster it off as if this is science and science is on your side, but really this isn't science at all. All that's on your side here is faith. Okay, and number 4, in an alternate universe or a multiverse would just multiply the need for a designer. He even admitted this. No, I did not. I would love for you to quote me on that. But first off, we would have to prove there's a multiverse to see where the multiverse came from. And who's to say that there had to be a designer? Because when you say there's a designer, you're implying that the thing is a consciousness. You don't know that. You can't know that. What the fuck? You can't observe something outside of space and time where you claim this thing is. There's no way in hell you can make that claim to knowledge and be correct. You're being completely dishonest, and you know it, and you don't care. Yet and then the non-believers are wrong. They're evil, stupid, fools, misled. Right. Come on. What's up with this have to stay there so long? Like, are the people who watch these videos, are they retarded? They can't read? What the honest enough. Also, because he can't prove the multiverse or alternate universe, he can't use that as a valid argument. Because if something is to be valid, it must be based on truth. That's the same thing that someone could turn. Okay, here, let's do what you just said. Also, Mr. Lichspiel cannot prove his God or any other type of God or designer, so he cannot use it as a valid argument, because if something is to be valid, it must be based on truth. Same difference. This is so stupid. I mean, I'm not based on any truth, okay? This is still only things that are in theory, only are incomplete in a more of a layman's term of a theory, right? Or more so of a hypothesis based on a few observations. Okay, I give that a little more leeway to say that it has a bit more, maybe, credibility to us discovering it to be true than this so-called transcendent conscious creator. And it's really your argument doesn't stand either, because you can't argue about something that's not truth. You can't argue that the designer is truth, because you don't know. No one does. And I'm pretty sure in the theistic sense, so it does this or it interacts with that, I'm pretty sure that's bullshit. Most times it's always been proven to show that it's bullshit. Come on. Now he's trying to be, now always being sarcastic and saying all life is special. If he denies this, then his subjective self-importance is an illusion and arrogant, since no life is special. Yes, I admit that. I'm bound to do that because I'm a slave to my genes, and I'll do whatever, and I'll do basically whatever to keep living. I mean, I do consider suicide. I mean, really, why not? I mean, while watching your video, I consider suicide. But really, it's like, it wouldn't matter if I did or I didn't. And I can have fun if I don't kill myself. So I'm going to just not kill myself, and for strictly hedonistic reasons. Blah. Duh. So now we're going to touch on this. Not even my own child. Does my little girl, does her life have value? Subjectively, to me, yes. To others who may see in our Western society, and well, everywhere you go in the world, probably, it's say, yes, a baby is somewhat of something that's precious. I mean, there was a news story I heard the other day that in Beijing, some woman broke her arm just to save a baby that fell out of a window or something like that. We tend to value our young, but this is very much so subjective. And just because it's not objective doesn't mean that we shouldn't value it. I mean, if no one was willing to do that, you wouldn't be here making your creatard claims about how everything was designed and nothing adapted and evolved over time. So as in, ultimately, does my child's life have value? To me and to her mother, and maybe to others, she does. But in all objectivity, no. Just like everyone else. I mean, it's hard to admit when thinking about it. It's your own progeny. I can't. It's hard to even really to articulate that, that or whatever. But for honesty and for consistency here, it's true. There is no value to it. There is no objective. There is no just this intrinsic value to any life. That's true. I'm going to continue this in another video.